Cudahy's Vice Mayor Cynthia Gonzalez is pushing back against claims that she was trying to encourage street gangs to confront ICE agents.
Well, we finally have a response from Cynthia Gonzalez. If you guys are unaware, she's the Vice Mayor who said this.
Not for nothing, but I want to know where all the cholos are at in Los Angeles. 18th Street, Florencia. Where's the leadership at?
So in this video, we're going to be digging into the Vice Mayor's response. According to her, she wasn't talking to cholos or talking to street gangs. She was generally speaking. So we're going to dig into all of this. Now, before we start the video, make sure to please like the video. It's the #1 way you guys are helping this channel, but it also helps others see the videos as well. And I think people want to see what's happening with this Vice Mayor.
Well, Gonzalez's attorney has released a statement saying that her message was peaceful. He says in part, quote, Dr. Cynthia Gonzalez called upon her local community to exercise their First Amendment rights to free speech and assembly, to express their views on recent ICE enforcement actions. Her message was entirely peaceful and aimed at encouraging civic engagement through lawful and constructive means.
Okay, so two things. #1, Cynthia Gonzalez went through her lawyer to make this statement. And don't worry, we will break this down. But #2, what I find very interesting is that the Vice Mayor has already made public statements as far as this case.
Cynthia Gonzalez shared that post last week, but has since deleted it, along with Facebook posts in which she writes about needing a lawyer, adding that the FBI came to her house. Federal sources telling Fox News they are looking into the video.
So I think Cynthia Gonzalez found that lawyer because now the statement has been made through the lawyer. So let's dig into this. Okay, so in this statement, we're being told that Cynthia Gonzalez, the Vice Mayor, she was simply calling upon her local community to exercise their First Amendment rights to free speech and assembly to express their views on recent ICE enforcement.
Not for nothing, but I want to know where all the cholos are at in Los Angeles. 18th Street, Florencia. Where's the leadership at? Because you guys are all about territory, and this is 18th Street, and this is Florencia. You guys tag everything up, claiming hood. And now that your hood's being invaded by the biggest gang there is, there ain't a peep out of you.
Now here's the thing, as far as calling upon your local community, I would agree with Cynthia Gonzalez. She was doing that. But the question is, are you calling upon the cholos and 18th Street gangs as your local community?
Not for nothing, but I want to know where all the cholos are at.
It appears that she is actually calling on known gang members, including the 18th Street gang, to get involved and interfere with ICE.
When you're dealing with a political leader calling upon criminal street gangs to take action, that takes on a far more sinister meaning and perhaps even criminal.
If you haven't already, make sure to please subscribe to my channel. I will be giving you guys a ton of updates on this case because there's definitely more to come. Now here's where things get interesting. According to the Vice Mayor's lawyer, her message was entirely peaceful and aimed at encouraging civic engagement through lawful and constructive means.
It's everyone else who's not about the gang life that's out there protesting and speaking up. We're out there like fighting our turf, protecting our people. And like, where you at? Bien calladitos, todos los chulitos. I'm like, dude, they're running amok all up in on your streets and in your city. And peep, when the big gang guns come in, nothing but like quiet, and we're out here, the regular ones that have never been jumped in, out here calling things out trying to organize people, trying to do the thing. So don't be trying to claim no block, no nothing. If you're not showing up right now, trying to like help out and organize, I don't want to hear a peep out of you once they're gone, trying to claim that this is my block. This was not your block. You weren't even here helping out.
So I have to point this out. In the video, Cynthia Gonzalez is also using street lingo and street jargon, talking about jumping in, talking about turfs, talking about the big guns. This is the other problem people have as far as Cynthia Gonzalez's statements. And according to her lawyer, she's specifically talking to the local community, not just these street gangs.
Meantime, the city of Cudahy has announced it's postponing its Independence Day celebration on July 3rd, citing safety concerns. The city did not specify exactly what those concerns were.
Bell Gardens is also canceling its 4th of July celebrations. Officials there citing ongoing immigration enforcement as the reason.
So I do find it rather interesting that Cynthia Gonzalez's own city had to cancel an event because of safety. Now, was it because of what Cynthia Gonzalez said? We don't know. There was no clarification. But what we do know is that local residents in the area, they're not happy with what Cynthia Gonzalez had to say.
Her talking about gang violence and bringing them to do, stuff like that, and I think it's horrible. We're already going through it as, ICE supporting people, and people are, are feeling it and sensitive about it, and then, saying that is just, it's kind of sad.
The Los Angeles Police Protective League is calling for the resignation of Cudahy Vice Mayor Cynthia Gonzalez. She made headlines after she allegedly called on gang members to stand up against immigration raids. The city of Cudahy told Eyewitness News it is aware of her comments and that they do not represent the views of the city.
That's right. Even the local police union, a big police union, is calling for the resignation of the vice mayor. And again, I want to point out the town has really separated as far as their image away from this vice mayor, saying her views do not represent us, but the problem is she is the vice mayor. So is she the town or the vice mayor? Are they not the same thing? Anyway, I think we need a quick coffee break. We have a sponsor because of you guys. Okay, this video is sponsored by 1775 Coffee Company. What if your coffee didn't just wake you up, but actually made you feel sharp, focused, and ready for the day? That's the difference with 1775's Pea Berry coffee. These beans are rare, less than 5% of all coffee grown. They're denser, naturally higher in caffeine, and packed with antioxidants. That means more mental clarity, better energy, and zero crash. Each bean grows solo, high in the Bolivian mountains, and is hand-picked at peak ripeness. The result? A smoother, more concentrated flavor that kickstarts your metabolism without the acidity or jitters. You're still getting 1775's organic, small batch, small farm, single origin quality, just with a bean that goes above and beyond. So go to 1775coffee.com, use code T-SPLY like you see on the screen, and get 15% off. It's coffee that actually earns its place in your morning.
That's the shocking video that was posted on Instagram by elected official Cynthia Gonzalez, who serves as the vice mayor of the city of Cudahy. It's a small town within LA County. The government, the message, though, also shocking. It's not for the federal government, but allegedly for the cholos. It's a slang term in Spanish to describe the most violent local street gang members, calling on them to organize amid the ongoing immigration enforcement raids and rise up against ICE.
Again, I've talked about this before, and now we are like 4 days into this story. I can almost find nobody who is sticking up for the vice mayor. The issue is this, and I've said this before, when it comes to language and the words you use as far as word structure, everything Cynthia Gonzalez generally points to she was specifically talking to the cholos and the local gangs. But more important, when you look at the context, those local gangs are not just these hangout gangs like the Boys and Girls Club. These are violent gangs. So contextually speaking and linguistically speaking, that is a big problem, and there seems to be a bit of a contradiction into what this lawyer is saying on behalf of the vice mayor and to what everybody else is reading into, or when they watch this video, we're not reaching the same conclusions here.
In a post to X, DHS officials called the comments despicable, writing, quote, "This kind of garbage has led to a more than 500% increase in assaults against our ICE law enforcement officers. Secretary Noem has been clear. If you assault a federal officer, you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law."
Okay, let's be very honest. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what we think. We are entitled to our opinions, but this is all up to the FBI, DOJ, and Homeland Security if they want to pursue prosecution. I also want to say this. In no way, shape, or form do we advocate for violence. I am very against that. But when the DOJ, FBI, and Homeland Security only make one statement, and they've been really quiet about this case, we know something is brewing up behind the scenes, because this case right here is so black and white and really leans into the favor of Homeland Security. According to the majority of experts who are looking into this, it's not looking good for Cynthia Gonzalez.
And preparations are underway for what could be a long night right now.
Interesting to see that. Christina Gonzalez was saying that this is not an organized rally like we saw earlier in the day, where you have the different organizations that are backing some of these protests. This is more, she said, organic, and maybe that's what you're seeing there. I'm hoping that is.
What are those boxes?
Are those masks of some sort? Are those gas masks?
I'm trying to see
that doesn't look like food.
Yeah,
and
those
water.
are.
Looks like masks.
Yeah, no, those are masks. Yeah, so people are prepping for some sort of altercation with.
I've made this comparison before to show you guys how the FBI does not mess around. That guy was arrested for showing up to the LA protest. You saw how nonchalant that was, but it was the intent. You're handing out these masks. Are you preparing for something violent? I'm just trying to show you guys the FBI is willing to go after you, even for this. Okay, so the mass majority of Americans have no idea who Cynthia Gonzalez really is. She's the vice mayor of a very small town. However, I was able to find these statements of Cynthia Gonzalez next to the mayor of Los Angeles, and it gives you an idea of who she really is.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Cynthia Gonzalez. I'm the vice mayor for the city of Cudahy, the Cela region, and although the raids haven't happened in our small city, they are happening in Southeast Los Angeles pretty heavily, and we stand united. And I also want to speak to Americans, especially to those who have allowed our community to be the scapegoat of this administration, that made you feel that your American dream hasn't happened because of us. I have a doctorate degree. All of us here are successful, and we are educated with our community behind us, documented or not. Undocumented people, the communities that we represent where I grew up, they did not interfere at all with my ability to be successful or achieve the American dream. If at all they helped feed us. They helped take care of my daughter when I needed babysitting and I couldn't have family members do it. There are neighbors. We don't ask our neighbors whether they have documentation or not. We are all united and we are all here. And if you should have anger, it should be for the gutting of Medicaid, it should be for the gutting of your Social Security, and it should be for corporate greed, because that is who they're after. And they're using our brown bodies to avoid the conversation that this administration is a failure and they do not know how to legislate.
So I thought you'd find this rather interesting. Cynthia Gonzalez, when she's in political mode as the vice mayor standing next to the mayor of Los Angeles, she is opposed to Donald Trump and all of these deportation raids, really in the bubble of sanctuary policies. But on the flip side, when you compare the iPhone video, quite different person here as far as what she's saying, because she was appealing to the gangs and the cholos in the handheld video as opposed to this video, but nonetheless almost the same category of speech as far as being opposed to the deportations. One side just happens to be appealing to the gang members, the other side happens to be appealing to the locals in the community, not specifically about gang members.
Well, we know the feds are taking it seriously, John. You know, California officials here, they've bent over backwards, right, calling these protests peaceful. Well, here you have an elected official appearing to do just the opposite, asking leaders of the state's most violent criminal street gangs to confront police and federal agents.
This is why I think the Trump administration is really looking into this case. You finally have an elected official who really does fit your narrative, because let's be honest, this is a narrative war. In California, the push is for protests, but the Trump administration is saying, hold on, you're not making it clear to be super peaceful with these protests. You're waiting until after the fact. And finally, the Trump administration has found the one elected official who went on social media and made this all very black and white, talking about the cholos, talking about the street gangs. This is what the Trump administration was looking for all along, as far as saying, hey, you're elected officials, you're not condoning the violence. Well, they finally found the one elected official they can point to and prosecute who's looking for the violence. And this is also very crucial. When Homeland Security has you on their radar and they post about you on their social media, as silly as it sounds, in 2025, this is actually a very big deal. The federal government is putting you on blast, and this is specifically what they're saying. The comments made by Vic Mayor of Cudahy, California, Cynthia Gonzalez, are despicable. She calls for criminal gangs, including the vicious 18th Street Gang, to commit violence against our brave ICE law enforcement. And the reason why this is a big deal is because if the vice mayor is seeing this as defamatory and making her look bad, why won't she countersue? Why won't she push back? The reason is because Homeland Security, they feel very confident. What she said is what she said, and let's bring it to court. Almost every single time Homeland Security puts you on blast on social media, it's not a good thing. They're most likely going to come after you, especially if you are an elected official. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is the most recent update as far as the Vice Mayor of Cudahy, California. Make sure to please subscribe to my channel for more relevant updates. We are following this very close. I am looking for constant updates because I truly do believe there will be charges pressed against her. Thank you guys so much for being here. We do not condone violence here. We want to come together. That's the most important thing. God bless, and we'll see you all later.